Good morning, Purple Rain royalty, because we are sitting here recording this at 7:30 on a Saturday night. I dare say no one's listening to us on a Saturday night, late at night, Aaron, so they're all going to get to it on Sunday morning for our review show of a massive win versus the Newcastle Knights that the Storm gets up at home in front of a 14,268 attendance of with a score 32-30. That's 2 weeks in a row we've beaten an opponent in the top four. Aaron, how are you, my man?
No, I'm very good. I'm very good. As we were just talking about then, I'm home alone with the kids. My wife's gone away for the weekend, so it's been a bit of a struggle to find a time to get this done. So tonight, when the kids have gone to bed, is when we're going to get it done. But I'm good. We've had another win. I loved last night with my boy. It's awesome that we've started to, I don't think it was the best win I've ever seen, but I do really feel like we're starting to play some better footy.
Oh, it was absolutely not the best win that I've ever seen, but damn, it was good to win still, and it was such a good game. And that last 10 minutes, oh man, I was walking up and down, I was pacing the house. So I reckon I've got the old like walking marks up my tile because I was just going up and down the corridor, just nervous as shit. And then even in the last part, Josh King, man, like he got my heart racing when he started celebrating before and the ball gets punched out of his arm, and I'm like, no, what are you doing, brother? The stresses of being a fan.
Like I was there live, obviously, and like I know he got it knocked out of his hand or whatnot, but when I was there, I couldn't see like exactly what had happened there, and I was so far away from the play that I had no idea. And then I went home and I watched the replay after. I was like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, seriously, brother, get to ground.
Oh, just go to the ground. Don't celebrate and hold the ball in one arm, and it gets knocked out. And like I literally screamed. I'm thankful that my girls were up and about. I love the early game because my girls can sit there and watch it with me, and my wife, and it was really nice. But I can tell you now, if they were in bed, they would have woken up because I was. There was a few choice words for Josh King in that moment, sitting there thinking, what are you doing, brother? But we get up, we do it, we push another top four team to the Knights and win that game 32-30. To be fair, I actually think we were the better team, clearly. I have no problems with this win at all. Yep. I've heard a few people whinging about that the Knights were the better team and things, and like, I actually think we were, and a lot of their errors, or a fair chunk of what the way that they played in their errors, was on the back of because of our pressure and what we had done. There were moments that I didn't think we were too great. There was a few mistakes. I remember one very clear message I sent to you after a Munster bad kick, and I messaged you just saying, this is the worst game I've ever seen of Cam Munster, and then literally within minutes, I messaged you saying, God, Cam Munster's a god after that little dribble kick that he got out to the wing there for the try. And the emotions of that game, it was probably the most emotional, most like invested I was in the game all year.
It's not often you get a game where it's try for try, bang for bang, up to the 60-minute mark. Like it was like every time we scored, they scored, and then it was like bang for bang. It was like stand and just go again, and then something would happen, and then it would change the flow of the game, and momentum shifted again and again and again. But like, as you said, I really felt like we controlled the first half. We had so much possession and we just didn't get the points in. And to do that in the first half and really take the energy out of the Knights when they've already lost Phoenix Crossland and they're going to their bench already. I just thought that effort that we put in the first half went a long way to slowing them down in the back end and giving us a chance to finish off. And it took till 65 minutes or something like that for us to get 2 tries in a row. And when we did, we managed to hold on. So it was a gutsy win. I don't think it was pretty. I think that the Knights making 16 errors and they can say they think they should have beaten us. Well, that's all well and good, but we were missing people too. And for us to, have 2 rookie centres in there and to still get that done and to still defend like we did, when it mattered, not defend like we did, we still conceded 30 points, but like when it mattered, we turned tries away. So Mate, I was happy, and they're a good side.
Conceding 30 points in this day and age is just, I think, the way that we just have to accept that this is what's going to happen. You know, this game is exactly the way the NRL want it to be. It's fast paced, it's up and down the ground, and they're scoring, and that's the entertainment factor of it. I have no problems with the fact that we conceded 30 to them, especially with that team. Like, that team's just full of attacking power across the board. Aaron, 6 tries to 5 tries, 4 of 6 conversions for Sewer. I thought Sewer kicked okay. 5 of 5 to Kalen Ponga. Mate, let's get into some of the key stats of this game. And one thing that I've really appreciated and really just absolutely loved over the last couple of weeks is the way that we are owning the ball and owning possession and completing our possession, and the way that you can win the best, the easiest and most efficient way to keep yourselves in games, even when you are down on troops or down on confidence, is to complete your sets. 37 of 41 sets at another 90%. I think it was 91% last week. This is exactly what you and I have been saying for weeks on end around how we have to win games by completing our sets. It gives us those opportunities. It lets us get the ball up the field. It lets us use our kicking game and bury teams deep, and then we can defend. We can still defend. It's very hard to have a good tackling efficiency when you are doing the errors and the mistakes and the set restarts that we were doing now, and that's completely flipped, and I'm very stoked with the way that we've been playing. Tell us about how we were able to how we've been able to do that last couple of weeks.
Well, that's it. On Tuesday, we said if we go in and we can, like even on the game day post, we put it there, and if we can complete at the same percentage, which is your 90-odd%, I think it goes a long way to winning the game. And we didn't I think in the first half, I think we made 2 errors for the half, and one was a 5th tackle error, so it wasn't it didn't cost us anything at all. I really think that if we put ourselves in that position and we continue to do that all year, we can match most teams. I mean, obviously there's a couple of standouts up there at the top of the competition that are really, really good, but we're playing good enough footy, and we've got points in us. Like I know the Knights do too. They love to attack, but like we showed on Friday that we can stand and bang with any team. It's more just the scramble, the defense, the staying in the moments that's changed. In the past, when we've had tries scored against us, when I say in the past, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 weeks ago, when we were in our little rut there, when we had tries against us, we put our head down and then we'd go to water, and in the next set we wouldn't be able to defend it because our mindset has changed. But now something in the group's clicked, and it's like after we concede points, we go back to our baseline, and our baseline is we need to set and reset and defend the next set. Forget about what just happened and focus on what is about to happen. And it really looks like we've done that.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing that I've liked over the last couple of weeks is we haven't been flashy. We've had moments of flashiness, and we've done some really nice things, but we've just been very stock standard. Just run it hard, get the play of the ball, and off we go, and defend well. And therefore, our completion rate has been very simple. And then where we've had to very good, where we've had to then put a bit of flash, we've been able to do that with the Munster kick. Like that dribble kick that he did was fantastic. Like Hughes and some of the ball he played. Harry Grant being able to pick it up with one hand and run. Like he was fantastic. And he's not going to feature in my votes of a player of the game this week, Harry, but he was great because he was with simple play and completing sets. Harry Grant knows that I can just pick the ball up my one hand on my run with my little angle and start moving the ball over and over and over again. And when Harry's playing with that confidence to know that in front of me they're not going to make the mistake and he can do that, we're a completely different team. And look, we had that 90% completion rate. They had 71%. They did have a lot of errors, but they still ran the ball 180 times to our 206. So they had 2 less sets than us, and yet it was only a 26 run difference. It means that a lot of those errors that they were doing were at the back or a back end of a set or things like that. So I'm really, really impressed with our attack at the moment. I love how it's just keep it simple, stupid. Like it really, really is just keep it simple, stupid.
And in the press conference, Holbrook come out and he said like the Knights need to find a balance on what they want to do, because like they've got so much points in them and so much attack that they throw the ball, and it's like it's crystal clear that's what they're prepared to do. They've got all this young flashy talent that throws the ball and has a crack, but that's going to lead to errors, and like what they need to find is the balance of how they're going to play. And if they want to make 16 errors and they want to cost themselves a game, that's on them. It's like we didn't ask them to make 16 errors. They chose to play that way, and we chose to play our way, which was very simple and straightforward, and it forced errors on, like Greg Mars, who just kept coming out of his own end, wasn't holding his own ball. I mean, there was a few of them that just the ball control and the intent to try and throw the ball and score off every play sometimes brings you down. And I think we've actually fallen foul to that at times in this year as well. So it's a growth thing, and I think Knights have got a good side there. But I mean, they finished last year, so they're coming from the bottom. But they're showing signs of they've got it. Now they just need to figure out what's their balance and how much they want to attack compared to how important it is to hold the ball.
I like how you went into that with a bit of Knights stuff there, because to be fair, Knights fans or anyone that's listening out there that likes the Knights, they're not in trouble. The way that they played last night to still be in that game and what we forced them to do and how we played, that's a finals bound team unless something really bad happens. The Knights have turned this around, and so full credit to Holbrook.
Especially losing Phoenix in the first 5 minutes, that's a huge loss for them. That's an 80-minute hooker that they now have to cover off their bench. And don't get me wrong, like football has incidents, and you need to be able to cover that. That's why we've got a 6-man bench, and that's why you need to be able to do it. So I'm not saying poor me, they've lost their hooker, but they did, and then that's a big loss. So that's going to affect any team. So also chuck that in there. It's not like.
Agreed.
I'm not.
Just before the game, we miss it. We lose Howarth. We've got our problems. We've had our problems. I agree.
I'm not saying we weren't missing people as well, but like that's a big loss, and that hurts them as well.
Yeah. Before I go on any stats, then, since you've brought that up, what do you think of that Crossland hit?
The Crossland hit. I don't know. I thought. Personally, that's just a footy incident. I think Joe Chan did see him at the very last minute and turned at it. But that's just like a holy shit, someone's on my inside, I better just put my shoulder up. It's not like I've turned into you and tried to flatten you. So the way that I see it is all the players around that, and when it happened, no one remonstrated. No one was like Joe Chan's just ran through Crossland. It was like they all just were like, oh shit, there's been an incident, and they all obviously were worried about his safety because he hit the ground and his eyes were rolling and like that. I thought broken jaw initially because that was hard, but I just really do not think Joe Chan even knew he was there until he decided to react that he seen him, and he just pulled his shoulder up. They ran into it, and it's just a footy incident. You can't avoid that. And thankfully that match review panel thought the same thing. There's a lot of people out there saying Joe Chan should have been penalised, but there's no intent. There's no malice. That was just unfortunate.
Accidents happen in the NRL in a physical game, and the boys are gladiators, and this is what happens. At the time, I didn't like it, and I put my other hat on, and I went, if Harry Grant was Crossland and that was Dylan Lucas running through, and Harry Grant gets knocked out in that situation, how would I react? And I'd be furious. But a decoy runner's run through and hit one of my players so hard that he's knocked out. I'm glad he didn't get. I don't think he should have got suspended. I really don't. but I don't. I actually think that should have been penalised. That's just personally my opinion, and we're not going to go back, and it's not going to change or anything like that. But personally, I look at it and think, okay, accidents happen, and this is the game, but that's a decoy runner, and as the decoy runner, it's his job to avoid contact. He can't be a decoy runner because he was always going to be a decoy runner in that situation. He was never getting that ball, and he never even had his hands up to get it. He was running, so he knew he was never gonna, and so it's his job to avoid contact. Phoenix Crossan was doing exactly what I think he should be doing. He was looking at the ball straight off the marker, and that's what he should be doing. He should not be worried about a decoy runner running through him like that. That's probably my problem. That's where I'm thinking, if that was Harry Grant and he gets knocked out and he doesn't play that game, and it was a Cat 1, so he doesn't play again next week, which is not as big a deal for us because we've got a bye. Well, so the Knights, but so then you've got the 11-day turnaround because that's what would happen with that situation. I'd be very pissed. So I understand. I get it. I'm with the Knights. I can see how there are people out there pissed off about the fact that they've lost this guy from that. But I do still think there is an element of it's accidental kind of. But I really think Chan needs to have more onus on, as the decoy runner, your job's not to go and belt somebody. Not that he was going in, not that he had that intent to do it, but that's just what happened.
I can accept, like what you're saying is fair, and he probably does need to try and avoid him, but I really don't think he intended to make any contact. I just think that Crossland ran a line which was right unders there, and as soon as they realised they were both on the warpath for each other, they just collided, and it was just a full-blown coincidence that they were there at the same spot. Like, I do see your point, but shit happens sometimes. That's a shit happens
Sometimes
moment.
It does. I'm fully with you. I've said my point. I'm not going to argue too much because I can see both sides. I absolutely see your side. I see my side, and I tried to put my hat on the opposite side and say, well, if this was Harry Grant, what would I have thought of? I'd be furious. So
I'd be furious too. Yeah.
So that's how I sort of looked at it. Let's keep going back into the stats now. It was, to be fair, even though there was a few errors and things, I thought it was a really entertaining game. 5 line breaks to their 9 line breaks. Geez, they looked dangerous out on the wings. And as good as we defended, they were just dangerous on those wings. 36 tackle breaks we had to their 33, and both teams averaged 44 for each set. It was just a really entertaining, running, attacking game. And I can't say that even on the defense was poor either, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but it was it was such an entertaining game for a wet weather footy game.
Yeah, and the Knights just kept throwing long-range tries at us, which that was the bit that pissed me off. Like, they just kept coming from the back end. Every time they got downfield and they tried to score tries inside their 20, we could turn them away and we were playing good defense. But once they could get, I wrote a little stat about offloads, and I thought the offloads, or just the inability to control the hands, they would back into a tackle and they would just dump it out the back, and that really played with our line, and it just looked like they kept doing that again and again. They had lots of success with it. So if we look back to last week, the same thing happened. Like, they throw the ball.
Against the Tigers, they thumped us with offloads, although we belted them.
Like, second phase play really, really disrupts our line, and I really think that's something we need to focus on going forward, because last night when they managed to score tries, that's how they managed to do it off second phase play, and we managed to make the tackle, but if they can still get the offload and dump it out the back and then go around us, it's a problem.
We had 12 offloads to their 15 offloads, but I feel like their 15 offloads, or a large chunk of them, were in just off good play, off good run, with the ability just to be able to just flip around at ease and make that pass. There was a number of them. There was a number of them that were just two-handed passes.
I think theirs were a lot more intentional than ours. Like, ours were, we get in a position and then we dump out the back, but I think theirs were back into a tackle and give it to someone so that they can shift around to Ponga on the run. And like, ultimately, that just kept ending up in Gagai's hands. And when Gagai was there out on that edge against Chan, I really think he just made a massive impact over there, and they got lots of lots of good meters down that wing, and thankfully it didn't cost us the game. But I thought Gags was probably I know Ponga had an unreal game, but I thought Gagai was the most dangerous for them, and he looked the most likely to break the line.
Defensively, we had an 84% tackle efficiency to their 88%. We had 33 missed tackles, they had 36. We had 19 ineffective tackles, they had 15. Does that tell you anything? Does that concern you in terms of the defensive side of things?
I actually thought we defended pretty well. I mean,
Agreed.
Even the tackles we missed, I really thought the ones we missed were just trying to go in and make heavy contact. I don't think we missed any that were like, oh my God, that's horrible. I think we definitely made a few bad reads during the game, but I also think a couple of those reads were on the back of Ponga's brilliance. I mean, one of them, he stood Mania up, and that was, well, I don't know what Mania's meant to do when he does that. So sometimes you just got to applaud greatness, and Kalen Ponga is one of those players. He had 3 moments in that game where he was just incredible. So
his right left step is just unfucking real.
That 1-2 step that he put on Mania just was on skates, and he made the wrong decision. But honestly, most people would have made the wrong decision there. Like, you've got a 50-50 chance. You pick one, you pick the other. Whichever one you pick, he probably beats you the other way anyway. So I'm definitely not going to have a go at Mania for that one bad read for the game, because his defense was incredible, and I thought Mania's game was the best game he's had for the Storm so far, which is so good, because he goes down to the 2s, and you said to me, mate, we got to put him in the 6, and live it was like at the game. Sometimes it's hard to notice the defensive efforts in the game because, I don't know, you just don't see him as well from your seat. But when you go home and you watch the replay and you see how much effort he was putting in, I thought, mate, credit where credit's due. He was sensational, and if he does that every week, he's pushing for a first grade jersey next year for sure, and that's good.
100%. 6 errors for us to their 16 errors. Talk to me about the errors. Did the Knights just play bad with their errors, or was a lot of them forced? Was it forced because we pushed them out wide very, very well, or what happened there?
I think we said it before. I think they like to play a flashy brand of footy, and the commentary team said they haven't played a night game yet this year. They've all been day games, and they've never played a night game. So they rock up now in a dewy conditions in Melbourne, which me and you, me, not you, because I said it would be pissing down and you said to me it wouldn't. Thank you, Jane Bunn. I appreciate your weather knowledge there. But I said, fuck, for sure it'll be raining Friday night. And mate, I texted you on the way in. It was dry. There was no rain for probably 4 hours before the game, but it was cold and it was dewy. And it was going to be a little bit slippery. So Knights go out there and they try and play their flashy brand of footy and throw the ball. And they just kept snatching at it and they weren't catching it clean in their hands. So that's going to happen. I mean, yeah, we're used to those conditions. They're not so much, because they're up in Newcastle where they get some drier conditions. So I think that plays a definite part in it. I think that conditions a little bit. I think forcing the play and trying to go around us, because our middle is so good at defence. Like, honestly, our 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then even our 13, all of them defend their fucking ass off, and then try go around us if you want, but then you're going to have to force the ball around there. And when you throw it there, go for it, and then they were dropping the ball.
Just going on to the NRL website on my phone so I can pull up some stats of tries so we can do a bit of a try analysis. And you're hearing it here right now. It is the Broncos 10 to the Titans nothing as we go through. Not that we care that much, but just thought I'd let you know. I know you're watching it on the big screen, so I actually don't even need to talk to you about it. Yeah. Let's go through the tries, because there was lots, and this might be a really big segment, so let's not make this too long, because there was 11 of them. But first try, big Stefano gets over for his first try for the year off the back of some very good play, and Stefano finished it really nicely.
Yeah, no, I think silky hands from Sua to get the ball out to Mania there on the other side. It was very clean, and then come back the other way, and then Kingy had a straight run, and then like Harry was looking for the crash ball there, and to get it to Steph, he had 2 to beat and beat him easily too. Like, he just powered his way through and put it down. It was. I don't think anyone had that one on their bingo cards. Steph to score first, but that's exactly the way we would like to start, through the middle, down the guts, crash ball. Like, we haven't seen one of them in a while like that. So that was awesome.
Reward for work too. We had that first 7 minutes pretty much sewn up, and it was good to put some points on the board for it. Next comes Fletcher Sharp.
Yeah, in between those two tries though, that's when Hughesy kicks that 40-20. I think we need to mention that, because we scored the try, and then Hughesy kicks that 40-20 off the boot. I was at the ground, and the second he kicked that, I was like that. I literally looked away. I was like, that's done. That is the perfect kick. So that was unreal. Kept the pressure on. You know, that was awesome. So sorry, I just needed to make sure we mentioned that kick, because that was special.
It was very nice, but the Fletcher Sharp try was not.
Yeah, I know, but like Liero tackled, who did he tackle? Ponga, I think. He got his hands around Ponga, and Ponga went for the late offload again. It was just that we make these tackles. Trent only just got onto that tackle, actually, so he couldn't have done a whole lot more. But yeah, Ponga kept his hands free, threw it out the back, and Fletcher was just supporting through the middle. Pretty nice try, and we said it in the pre-game as well. He's very crafty and he's very agile, so it was a good try, and I'm not overly concerned with that one, because it was well worked.
I'm proud of myself, Aaron, because I listened to the commentators, and for the whole game I heard the commentator and I repeated it every time. It's Watere, 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 right? And I repeated it 500 times in my head, and my daughters were saying it with me. So I'm really proud of myself. But next on the trial list was Watere, Mania. I like Mania better.
Mania's easier.
Mania's much easier. God, I love him. He played so well last night. Oh, he played so well last night. We said it before, and that was a very nice try.
Yeah, for sure. And I wrote down just notes that Trent had 2 runs in that set where he just compressed the defense, and both of them he just kept. I mean, all night he did as well. So not just these 2, but like on this particular set, he had a couple of runs where he just made sure the defense stayed in nice and compressed in the middle, and then we threw the ball out wide. Harry kicked it out to Doozy, and then Doozy passed it out in front of Sewer. And live, I genuinely thought Sewer was going to drop that, because that was probably a metre in front of him or something like that, and Sewer was moving, and he put his hand out and it stuck. And as soon as it stuck, I thought to myself, "Oh, here we go. This is good," because, you know, if it's not your night, you drop that ball 9 times out of 10. So it stuck in Sewer's hands, and then he just flicked it off and gave it to Mania, and Mania was really strong in contact, just barged his way over the line. Fletcher Sharp out of the way and put it down. So it was really nice. But the best part about that try for me was that Sewer held on to that ball, even though it was a bit of a prayer, like it was a shit pass. I mean, it's a good pass, but it's a shit pass because he made it work.
No, it was not a good pass. I wouldn't even say it was a good pass. Sewer just makes it look good with some just sticky fingers.
100%. He made him look good, because if that had gone to ground, I mean, Harry would have been absolutely filthy with himself, because that was too far out in front.
Next was Dylan Lucas's try. Now, the dude, I'm just going to call a spade here. Dylan Lucas is in a rich vein of form, and he runs a wicked line that's very hard to stop. But I'm pretty sure you're going to analyse something a little bit more here. Yeah,
so this is the one where Ponga put the step on with Mania. I'm going that way, sorry, I can't do the other one. He put the step on Mania, and mate, it was just too good. It was just too good. That step just confused Mania. He didn't know which way to go, and then there was space there because Mania made the wrong decision. But, you know, Ponga is one of the elite fullbacks in the competition, and when he puts that on you, it's a 50. Have a guess. Pick which way you're going to go, and if you get it wrong, sucked in. And Mania got it wrong. So, good try. Well done, Ponga. I'll give credit to an absolute freak.
And then Dylan Lucas just finishes that off, as he should, as an
running
incredibly...
a good line, supporting a good fullback. It's like Lucas must just love going to work when he's got, like...
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's got so many
Wouldn't be
He's
hard
got
to
so
get
many
out of
ball
bed being
players.
him, hey.
No, he's got so many ball players around him that absolutely have unbelievable hands. Like, he's in a good spot. Like, I'm not saying that's why he's so good, but he's in a bloody good spot.
This next try, I really want to talk about Will Warbrick's try. Trent Liero, I made a mention of this in whilst this game was being played, that in that first 37 minutes that I then write how good he has been. Liero was phenomenal. He was so good. Just simple. And I said to my wife, like I said, it's so nice to just watch Trent Liero just run straight and big. And there was some meters, some runs that he didn't get anywhere, but he gets 3 or 4. He just was able to drag 3 or 4 defenders in. And he wants to try and turn, which changes the whole defensive line when he's just looking like that. He doesn't have to do it, but he was doing it, and it makes the defenders accountable. That pass then goes out to he makes a really beautiful run through the middle. Hughes gets his hand on it, and that pass, but that ball out to Warbrick. Oh my God!
Yeah, I just said doozy 15-meter cutout pass to Warbrick, unbelievable. But I'm glad you said it about Trent there, because what really looked good with Trent on Friday was when he grabbed the ball, he didn't just run it straight behind the line. That's what he's been doing for the last couple of weeks, and it's been getting better. Like, don't get me wrong, that's what he's asked to do, tuck in behind the ruck and try and compress the defense. What he was doing was he was getting the ball, and then he would engage the line on the outer, and he would straighten up. And then as soon as he straightened up, then he'd look for his pass. And all that does is just make the defense make a decision. And he did that again and again and again. And if he can be that link man in the middle that does straighten the defense, like it's not like Azza or it's not like Cam Murray, but it's very subtle, and it makes a big difference. It gives
it just holds them accountable, doesn't it? Like, and when
so
you're
good.
dragging 2 and 3 players into your tackle, and you've only got 4 or 5 meters, and they're doing that because they know you're looking to turn your big ass into them and try to offload. That just changes everything, and it makes it simple. And the thing that I really liked about it last night was Liero was just simple. He just ran at it, and if the pass wasn't, I have 2 hands free and I'm ready to make an offload, he didn't. He just held it. He went down, he got his ass up, and Harry Grant was able to play. I thought he was great in that first half. 40-minute mark, we come straight out of the half. Dylan Brown gets a try.
Oh man, the start of the second
There's
half.
one person you just need to talk about.
Well, I wrote, like, as soon as the second half started, like 20 seconds in, Alec McDonald gave a 6 again, and there was 3 people in the tackle. And with these new rules, if you're going to get 3 people in the tackle, you can't do the old 10 years ago 1, 2, 3 into the tackle, 3, 2, 1 off the tackle. You can't do that now. Like, it's definitely a 6 again, and we tried to do that on that one. It was 10 years ago that play would have worked, but Alec got stuck there on the defender, and they called it. So there was a 6 again that got it started, and then Chan got tangled up with Ponga when they were running across, and he fell over, and then Gagai split the defence there and got between Moses and Moses Leo and Munster. I think he got through the middle of, and Gagai had a little break, found Dom Young, and Dom's Dylan Walker scored under the post,
Brown.
and it was just. Dylan Walker. Dylan Brown scored under the post. Yeah, sorry, my bad. But yeah, it was just a calamity. The first we come out of the sheds, and to let that happen was like, we had been so good to just stop any rot, and then in the first 30 seconds, it turns to shit, and they score a try within the first minute and a half. I was very worried when that happened. Let's just say that. I thought, oh no.
Agreed, but
and that's not the end of it. That's not the end of it, because the half got worse from there. Because the kickoff after that try, Sewer kicked it out on the full.
Yep.
And mate, that is, I'm sorry, but that should never happen. Sewer will learn from that. That don't go pushing it, and he didn't push it for the rest of the game. And mistakes happen, but that was after letting that try in and then kicking it out on the full. Bellamy absolutely blew his little load there in the box, which was no good.
I have to be honest, bud. I've never seen so many kicks off the kickoff go out on the full as I have in 2026. Like the year this year, there's been so many. I watch almost every game, and I know it happens a lot more than I've ever noticed before, and I'm wondering why.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, when he kicked that out after just that little start there, and then he kicked that out, I thought, oh my God, not again. It's 12-6, by the way. Titans just scored, so you know.
But we make it we turn it around, and Jerome Hughes goes over nicely for a beautiful try through the post.
Before Jerome Hughes scores that try, there's actually that Dylan Lucas double movement try. So we kicked it out on the full, and then they come down the field and they actually have a chance to score. And Dylan Lucas does that double movement.
Ball hits the ground.
Mate, there's a lot of fans out there. Well, there's not a lot of fans. There's a lot of Newcastle fans that are saying that's ridiculous. And NRL Nostradamus is saying, how is this a double movement? Well, I'm just going to jump in there and say...
That's because they don't have the rules. They don't know the rules. Go, talk to them.
Correct.
Because I hope you're going to tell them.
I know the rules. The rules are if your ball-carrying arm hits the ground or the ball in your ball-carrying arm hits the ground whilst you're being tackled, that tackle is complete. You cannot promote it from there. Harry Grant's sitting on top of him. His ball's on, like the ball is on the ground. It's tucked in under his arm. It's on the ground and his arm is on the ground. And then...
And the momentum stops. His momentum stops.
Know.
So his momentum actually... No, so he goes down, his momentum stops, basically because the ball hits the ground there, that his momentum has basically stopped. But then...
I thought he was still moving, but he still chose, which you're not allowed to do, like whether you're moving or not, you still cannot promote it. Your ball hand has been held on the ground, and I thought he would have ended short anyway, for sure, if he hadn't have promoted it. I still definitely think it would have been short. But the fact that he went again, it's double movement. It's not even... Why are we even arguing this? Why are there people out there saying that the ref was shit on this particular one? Because that is clear as day. If that happened to me, and that was a Storm player that did that, I'd be filthy on him. Hold the ball. It's a third tackle.
Well, simply it's... They don't know the rules. And all it is they didn't see... They've seen that their man didn't get a try that they think he should have got a clear grounding on it. He promoted the ball.
That's one-eyed fandom that just has missed the mark, because that is clear as day double movement for me. Simple as.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Nostradamus either. So, and some of the things that he says. Next on the list is actually quite a nice try off Moses Leo. This was the moment where I was furious at Munster.
We didn't do the Jerome one there because I jumped in and cut you short.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that was a high kick to Ponga. Ponga took the catch and then he threw it to Mazu. And to be honest, that was a poor pass from Ponga. It was behind Mazu, and Mazu tried to snatch back and grab it. And like, I'm not going to put it on Mazu for dropping it. He could have taken it, but it was a bad pass. And then the ball hits the ground, and it really looked to me like that Fletcher Sharp, Dom Young, and Greg Mazu all stopped. They all kind of just thought that was the end of the play. But Alec McDonald ran in there and he sweeped on it, and he picked up the ball and he dumped it out the back to Hughesy. And then Hughesy did his little right step that he throws in and come back into the middle. And Ponga was the only one still there. And Ponga come in with another... It's not a shoulder charge, but it's his head on the wrong side of the tackle. He put his head in a position there where he was really vulnerable, you know, and Hughesy bumped him good and sent him to the ground. I don't think he can hold that tackle 9 times out of 10, because as long as the person's coming through, momentum's going to get you through there. And I really think Ponga's hurt his neck from that. Like, they said after the game he was on ice and his neck was really bad. He couldn't come out and do the press conference because... You know, he has a sore neck. I genuinely feel like that's going to be an ongoing problem for Ponga. I don't think that's just a little knock to his neck.
We will cover that in a talking point coming up around some of that technique that Ponga has. Next on the list, in this podcast, we will get there, I promise, Aaron. Next on that list is that Moses Leo try that people are also complaining about. But let's give credit where it's due. That Munster kick was just beautiful. Because I hated him beforehand. Before that, I was on a hatred of Munster. And then...
he had a couple of moments before that, I agree. Like that ball that went up, he could have taken it on his chest. He decided to tap it behind his head. That was it.
What are you doing,
We're going to go
bro?
back to that. we're going to have that chat as well in a minute. Like that's one of the talking points from later. But yeah, that happened, and then
dumb push on Ponga. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
just
we'll get there, we'll get there.
up until that moment he had some really bad moments, but that kick that he did, that grubber kick that he goes
all right.
far out.
We'll get back to the try. Yeah, we'll get back to the try. Dom Young turned it over, and then Hughes actually tried to do that exact same rainbow pass out to the right again to Warbrick, but Warbrick couldn't get there. It was the same one as the first half, but it just didn't come off, and Warbrick had to come inside. And that was great. We stayed on it, and then we come back through the middle, and then Munster just got on it and did that dribble kick out to the corner. A lot of people thought that was going dead off the boot, but as soon as he kicked it, I thought that's perfect.
When he kicked it, I went, "Oh no!" And then when I saw that he was in a chance, I was like, "Oh man, you're a god, Munster."
Now I watched it live, and live I initially thought, "Ooh, I'm not sure." Like I'm not sure if he's grounded that. Like not that it was like he knocked it on, but I was like, I'm not sure. And then they showed it on the screen, and the fact that Klein sent it up live as a try. There is no time that I can see the ball is separated. I can see that it comes very close, but I cannot confirm
you can
that
look
it's separated.
It's literally just depending on the angle that you choose to take. If you choose to
12
take the
all,
front,
by the way.
if you choose to take, oh wow, if you choose to take the front on angle, it looks like he doesn't get enough pressure to push it down. But if you choose to take the side angle, which is exactly the same shot but at the exact same millisecond. But on the side angle, you can see that his hand is on the ball on that side, pushing it down. So it's a very clear that ball's down.
Yeah, I don't think you can overrule it. I really don't. And like, don't get me wrong. I'll sit here and I'll say, yeah, definitely that was sketchy. And it was sketchy. And if it was another team, I'd say it was sketchy too. But if I'm being honest, it didn't separate. So I'm happy with the try. And if it went the other way against me, I would say the same thing. I'm like, fuck, we're stiff. But I didn't see it separate. So I'm happy.
As soon as you show me
that.
the side angle, I can see the ball's down, ground, hand, ground, done. Next is the Jermaine McEwen try, 60 minutes.
Mate, I don't know. Live, I got the shits with this one really bad. Really bad because, when Chan went to ground and stayed on the ground, I thought, what are you doing, mate? Like, you got to get back there. You can't, like, I didn't even really see what had happened because obviously I'm there live.
It was soft, man. It was soft. And then once he gets up and goes and plays. Like, if you're going to go down like that, go be injured. Otherwise, get your ass up.
On the replay, I've seen what happened now, and it was a lazy boot that kicked him in the chest, and it definitely does hit him in the chest. But when he went down, that left that whole edge scrambling, and look, Steph made a really lazy effort there.
And so did Sewer. Sewer didn't make a lazy effort, but Sewer missed a tackle that I would think that I would like to see him defend the inside better and force him up the sideline.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I thought before that, Steph had a chance to get there and he wasn't moving. And then I thought Munster had a chance to get there and just we weren't quite on it. So it was like a couple of people that missed the opportunity there to have a crack. But I thought Steph's was noticeably lazy. But yeah, Gagai again down that edge. He looked so dangerous in the second half. He's an old man that's playing some seriously good footy at the moment. And credit to him because he really had a crack on Friday night there. So he did well. And then Jermaine was just supporting through the middle. It was an easy finish. But I think we missed an opportunity to stop that one.
Yeah, agreed. The next try, though, 69-minute mark, God's number, but it's also Trent Liero gets a try off some... God, Harry was very clever and very good in that position and that moment, and the finish off there with Trent, unreal. Love it. Love it. He got reward for effort in that with that try.
Yeah, and the play before, he tried to throw a face ball to get the crash play for, I think it was it Kingy? Oh, no, it was Steph. He threw the face ball there and tried to get Steph over on the crash ball and then came back in and then recognised again that Trent was on a run and a good line and then put him over. So I think they were planning to just go through the front door on that one and Trent ended up on it. But very good and as you said, reward for effort. He played a great game and just deserved a try and hopefully that's if he plays like that for the rest of the year, he adds a lot more value than he has been for a lot of this year.
By the time Sewer kicks the goal, there's 9 minutes left, right? And I'm putting up top sixes, and you turn around and you say, "Surely we finish from here." And 2 minutes
Oh,
later, well, not even 2 minutes later, Saifidi, and I said to myself, and I said to my wife, "I'm never doing that again. I'm waiting till the end. I'm not going to get ahead of myself here." Saifidi gets
I,
that try, and God, that was a soft try.
so the kickoff, right? Some people have, I've seen chat that Husey is responsible for letting that bounce, and like, yes, Husey let it bounce, but go back and look. Like I watched it very closely on TV when I watched it, because when I seen it live, I thought, how the fuck do we let that bounce? How do we do that in that particular moment? But I go back, and Husey did not start any deeper than usual. He started where he would always start. The kick was just a short one, and it ended 15 metres in front of where he would usually catch that ball. It was a bit of a sneaky play from the Knights, and Husey ran at it, and he thought about taking it, but if he had tried to take it and knocked it on, we would have had just as many problems. So he let it bounce, and the bounce was the worst possible bounce you could have ever seen. It landed on its point, it bounced straight back. They ended up with it. We gave away a six again because we were on the back foot. As soon as they got it, we gave a six again. And then we just had to defend our ass off, and we couldn't, you know. Ponga just come across there and put that little kick in, and that kick to Saifidi was special. Like, that's another moment where Ponga just did Ponga things, and I don't think we can really defend that from there. Like, it's just greatness. He's that good. That was just such a good kick.
It was, but it's still soft. We should never have been in that situation, to be honest, and we should be much more. I get what you're saying. I think you're just trying to find an excuse to allow Doozy to have that one. We still won, so
He couldn't have got it. He couldn't have got it. I swear.
He should, but he wasn't even watching. Like, he really wasn't even watching. That's the thing, right? He kind of had his back to it. He was kind of sideways looking for the longer kick, and I'm like, it's 10 minutes to go, and we're up by 8. You've got to. You've got to be on your toes. Like, you can't be just sitting there expecting that to kick it long. It's always going to be an option at that period of time for a shorter kick.
Like, fair point. Especially in that particular situation where they need points, they're going to try something different. So yeah, like, I do see that point, but he got done by a good kick, and then he got done by a good Ponga kick as well. So I see your point. For sure.
Let's talk about Ponga's shoulder charge. Let's go into some talking points, Aaron. I wasn't trying to cut you off there, but I kind of thought you said Ponga, and I wanted to segue into a point. I thought that was just a good moment. I'm sorry, mate.
No, fair.
Ponga shoulder charge. Now, there's talk around this being a penalty try. There's wondering around why this is not a penalty. There's suspensions. It's obviously being cleared, but talk to me.
I think we're both going to have an opinion on this one, but for me personally, I just think if a defender chooses to shoulder charge, which he clearly did, like he clearly chose to not tackle, and I know that he hits the arm and the ball, he doesn't hit the body or the head, or he doesn't do anything malicious, or it's not dangerous only because he missed, not because of what he intended to do. So he intended to shoulder charge, he just missed. But what he did do is he dislodged the ball. And you can't intentionally shoulder charge someone to dislodge the ball. Like, I don't think he went in there with the intent to knock the ball out of Warbrick's hand. He went in there to make massive contact and cause the ball to be...
to stop.
Correct. So the bit that I can't understand is, if Warbrick goes low there and dives for the line rather than tries to hold up...
I'll jump in there. To be fair, which is what most wingers will do in that situation, because they know attackers coming, so they go low to get to the ground and try to get that momentum across the line. So to be fair, that's generally what happens.
Whereas Warbrick trying to half step back and just let... Yep. Yeah, and let Ponga come through, and then Ponga hits arm and ball and dislodges it. Now... The argument here is he didn't try and tackle, and he's dislodged the ball in a try-scoring situation. So regardless of the contact and the damage done by the contact. What he's done is he's shoulder charged and dislodged the ball in a try scoring situation. Now that to me is a choice to make an illegal tackle that stopped a try. And if that's the case, that's a penalty try. Like, I don't care it's soft. I couldn't give an absolute fuck. It does not bother me in the slightest that is soft. That is poor defense. And it's if he wraps his arm there and he does the exact same thing, credit to him. But his technique it's been questioned very, very, very heavily in the last 2 weeks. And he had 2 moments in this game where he did the same thing.
Okay, so we're on the same track here, and yes, listeners, Aaron and I had a bit of an argument, but I wouldn't say it was an argument because we were virtually arguing the same thing. But we were virtually arguing the same thing, but talking footy. Now, in my opinion, and here it is, and I'm going to be very honest, Ponga is one of my favourite players. I love watching Ponga. I think he's just an absolute superstar of our game, and probably, in my opinion, the most skilled player in this competition. Clear is the best player on the competition, but Ponga is the most skilled player in the comp. I'm also an Origin Queenslander, and I absolutely love Ponga because of that. And I VC'd Ponga in my Supercoach team, so I needed Ponga to have a big game and the Storm to win. Ideal world for me. I'm loving it. Ponga has a big game for points-wise in Supercoach and Storm win. So I'm going to say that. That moment, I am so over... And I'm so done with the NRL and the way that they adjudicate these things. The only reason why Ponga got away with that, literally the only reason why Ponga got away with a full-blown shoulder charge is because he didn't knock the shit out of Warbrick. That's it. That's the only reason. If he knocks Warbrick out, Ponga's not playing Origin, and Ponga's probably suspended. It's that simple.
Oh, he's definitely suspended.
So why in the world are we allowing him to go and do that and get nothing? I'm so sick and tired of us, or of the NRL, or of the players, or sorry, of the bunker and of the judiciary system and all that sort of stuff, of allowing players to do things and then we wait until a moment that's catastrophic. I'm fucking done with it. I really am. This is a way to really put a point down to Ponga and say, mate, you've got to fix this shit. You can't keep doing this because 2 weeks ago in Origin, you knocked Cooler out to the point he couldn't play his next game. And he had to sit out because you knocked him out because you shoulder charged him. Now, do I think he should have got Simbin sent off for that? No, I don't. I think he should have got Simbin, though. But that's what he did 2 weeks ago. And he's actually had a career of having this moment of situations where he does this. It's a talk about him, and it's a deficiency in his game that he has had number of times around the fact that he does go in for that. And I think, to be honest, it's self-preservation. He's protecting himself. He knows if he opens himself up as a fullback to try and make that tackle, he probably gets hurt. So he goes in hard with a shoulder like that. But it can't happen. You just can't do it. And that should be penalised. So he should have, in my opinion, he should have got Simbin for it. I don't care that he hit him. Get him for the action. Stop the action, because eventually we're going to get to a point where he full-blown, or someone, doesn't have to be him, but we all look at this moment and we go, okay, well, he did it and he didn't hit him, so I'm going to keep going. You know, I'm just going to wait until I actually knock someone out. And that's a problem. I get that that we're talking about a hard game. I get that these boys are gladiators, but it's 2026 and we've got to stop this shit, and we've got to stop we've got to stop waiting for a consequence for us to actually take notice of it.
Yeah, so I don't think it should have been a sin bin or a send-off personally, but I think if you make a point there that's a penalty try because you ran with the shoulder charge and they would have scored 100% of the time, that's a big lesson to learn, that you can't run in there like that. So the way that
clearly
I see it
Palmer's
is...
not learning his lesson. He's not learning it.
If me and you stand up, Trav, and I throw the biggest haymaker that I've got and it hits you in the shoulder because I can't throw a punch, is that still a punch?
Yes.
Correct, and that's where we're at. Like, he threw a shoulder charge and he missed. And it did dislodge the ball.
Correct.
And it did suit them. So, yeah, that's my take on it. He threw a shoulder charge and he missed, and it still cost us.
Yeah, I sorry, I thought you were going to... That was like, here's a mic drop moment.
That's my point. Yeah, fuck.
I'm so over this nonsense that we have in the game where we wait for a consequence to come up before we make it a legitimate thing. And clearly Ponga's not learning. And it hurts me because I need him to play Origin. I want him to, and I love watching him. But like I got to call a spade here, and I don't like the fact that he did that. I don't like that he's not learning from it. I don't like that he has had no consequence. Literally all he's had is 23% of his 30k from game 1 as a consequence, as a fine. That's it. That's all he's had. So he's sitting there thinking, well, I'm on 1.5 mil. I don't give a shit about an extra 23% of my 30,000 that I'm making from playing Origin game 1. Like, so for him, it's like, well, I've got no consequence. We learn by doing wrong, and by getting punished and consequenced it for it. Like it's just doing my head in. Let's move on. Warbrick. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I needed to take a breath. I thought Warbrick played pretty well last night.
Me too. He was good.
But I don't know how many more times I can take the damn errors, man. Like, especially when it resulted in literally 3 passes later, another try in the middle of the field. And last night, for the first time in a while, in actually probably ever, every time Warbrick got the ball, and I'm a big fan of Warbrick, so I've protected him a lot, and I still am a fan of his. But every time he got the ball, I said, "Oh no," and I winced. Like it's concerning now.
Yeah, my note here was hands like feet. And,
again, face palm.
Again, face palm. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like that only happened in our end. It's like I think it's a mental thing for him. Like when we're down on our end, he doesn't do that same mistake. So I don't know what it is. He just his ball control or his mind's in a different place when he's trying to bring the ball out of our end, and he makes these errors and they directly cost us points. And thankfully it didn't cost us the game this week, but someone commented in there that that's 11 errors in 3 weeks now, and he's actually leading the comp for errors in the whole competition. So it's an absolute problem, and as I said, thankfully it didn't cost us. But like the fact we're talking about this again, where he's coming out of his own end with a one-handed carry and he drops the ball, like he actually snatched, like it wasn't a one-handed carry actually, he snatched at that to try and catch it in front of him, and I don't know. I don't know the answer, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's not good, and the fact is that we are talking about this, and it overshadows the good game that I thought he had, is frustrating, and that's what's frustrating about it. Like I can give up errors. That's what we do. That's part of the game. It's tough, but errors like that over and over and over again. Come on now. When are you learning?
I love that he goes looking for work in there because that's what we want. We want that's literally our blueprint.
We miss Coach doing that as well.
So bad. And I agree. And like honestly, that's what Bellamy says. He would say to them, go in there and get those first 1 or 2 and try and get out of our back end. I think it would be on their KPIs for the game. Go in there and do that work. But if that's turning these tries over, now I can think of like 2 in the game 2 weeks ago against the Dogs, he did it. Yep. 1 there. He did 1 in the Dolphins game as well, and I'm pretty sure there's another one earlier in the year. I reckon there's genuinely 5 this year that have directly led to tries where he's dropped it inside our 10, coming out of our back end. So it's a massive problem.
Within the immediate set.
Massive problem.
Sua's goal kicking. You've put it here. Now, I'm not going to have you talk about my boy in a negative way.
I didn't. You read the rest of it.
No, I just Sua's goal kick. Look, he starts 1 and 3, yes, but those 2 ones that he missed, they were from sideline.
One was gettable.
Like gettable is gettable. There's no gimmies as a kicker in the NRL, but it was still a toughish kick.
I wrote it like that for this reason, because at 1 of 3, I was like, holy fuck, are we doing this? And then when he finished 4 of 6, I was like, at least, 4 of 6 is reasonable, So like I wrote it like that. Correct. And I wrote it like that, not because I was having a go at him, but because at 1 of 3, in my head, I was like, oh, shit, I don't know if we're going to persist with this. And at 4 of 6, I put 2 ticks after that, if you can see my little notes there.
Yes, I can.
Tick, which was, I thought he did well. And like, yes, he did miss one that he could have kicked, and then one was a hard one. So ultimately, I'm happy. If he's kicking and it's not Harry, as we said in the preview, it's good. I don't want Harry kicking him.
I'll take that 4 for 6 for sure, especially because a lot of our tries were wide. I'm okay with missing some of those ones. The only thing I want to say is he only brings the ball out to 21. He doesn't.
I don't think he's got the leg.
He doesn't give himself a very good angle. Like, I think he does have the leg. He was pushing that ball well past the goalpost. He's got the leg on him. But 21, like, he's not Jermaine Osako pushing it out to 35.
I was going to say, I'll tell you who does have the leg.
That's different. That's like that's a freaking bazooka for a leg, right? That's different. But 21, like, pull it to 25, 27, 28. Give yourself an angle. He doesn't give himself much of an angle. Anyways.
Agreed.
We're going to I'm going to skip these 3 for a second and go to Josh King's cleanup.
Oh, we already talked about it. Yeah.
And
we talked about it at the end.
Oh, yes, right. I finished the... no, I don't want to talk about that again. That pissed me off. We've spoken... We haven't given this guy enough credit, and I want to give it to him now. Mania. That's by far his first game, and you definitely agree with me with this comment that you've said here. And look, I'll read what you wrote, but we've spoken about this already, and I've said most of this. Defensively, he was really good. He was so strong. And in attack, he was making some really good runs, holding the ball, getting good meters. He was fantastic last night, and on Friday night, and I think that's a confidence boost. That's a massive confidence booster for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I mean, like me and you were talking about what that centre position looks like for next year, and we, like, on Tuesday we were talking like, you know, these two are obviously going to be battling for that. Obviously, it's going to be Moses and it's going to be Mania, and the fact that Mania's put that kind of performance down now when Moses has been asked to play on the wing, who's doing a great job out there. Don't get me wrong, and the fact that X has gone down now and X is not going to be there for the first 6 or 8 weeks next year, you'd say it's a 10-month injury usually. I mean, Welsh was 10 months. Usually the Achilles rupture is about a 10-month injury. So you're probably looking at April or somewhere there where X will be back next year. So we're going to have to start next year with a Sako and another winger. I think Moses will pretty much hold down that wing for the start, but then there'll be a battle going forward on who's going to get that centre spot, whether it's... I personally think we're still in the market for a Gemmet Shibazaki, and I said that to you today. I still think we're looking for an extra centre, and I think we're looking for a lockdown centre because we don't attack through our centres. We don't use our centres. We're not looking for a Bronson Cherry or an attacking centre. I really think we're looking for another Jack Howarth who can just lock down and can be that middleman there that really holds down that edge. So I think personally we look at Gemmet and I think one of Mania and Moses are going to miss out next year if we're full strength, but it's great to have that depth there now that they're getting reps, they're looking better, and they're starting to get some really good games under their belt.
Mania had 19 runs for 154 metres, 1 line break. Leo had 14 runs for 157 metres. 115 metres. I think both of them played really well. I really like that. But let's move on to... It's going to be tough to talk about my boy here because he is a god. But let's talk about Cam Munster. So the first point... how about I just give this to you? I'm just going to throw it to you because I'm going to chime in. Because I know where this is going.
I'll start with the 3 decisions I thought that were shithouse. I thought that little kick, he tried to dribble it in behind the play. It went about 1 metre max behind the line, and they cleaned it up, and it was just a terrible... Like Bellamy...
Early too. As soon as he kicked, on the field.
Soon as he kicked it, they looked at Bellamy in the box, and Bellamy just like...
Ran. Yep.
Cracked it and ran to the back of the box. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
he's not happy with that.
Yep.
And then, not long after that, like not long at all, the ball goes down, it's a high bomb, and Munster's on his own there, and he could take that high bomb, and he chooses to try and tap it back over his head. When he's fucking on his own, I was like, mate, that there, you score there, that's the first time any team's gone back-to-back for the game, and that puts a lot of pressure on, and he doesn't do it. And in that particular moment, I'm like, what is he doing? But then he's also had a lot of good moments in that game. He had a couple of big tackles. He also had a really good try assist there, and if anything, he was bringing a lot of energy. So,
energy is something that he definitely brought a lot of on Friday night. I definitely agree.
Whether it was positive or negative, I'm not sure, but he brought a lot of energy.
That was one of the up until that point where he did that try assist. I even said that was one of the worst games I've seen of Cam Munster, and I do hold him to a high extent, but I love the Mad Dog. But
what did you think of the when he put the kick through the line and Tyson Frizzell and Graham jumped in and stepped in front of him? Do you think that's an escort, or do you think that's just they're just trying to close the gap and then he kicks it and then he runs into them? Live, I was like, what? That surely we at least look at that. And then when I was at home, I thought it was pretty split of the moment. It wasn't
you
like
can
it
clearly
was intentional.
see that he kicks the ball through the middle of them, and the two of them instantly move inside. So therefore,
Correct.
then Munster doesn't go in, and Munster can't get through. And he still gets through, but very, very deterred. That to me is an escort, or what is it, blocking the kicker or whatever they want to call it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm with you. I definitely think they changed their line, and I definitely think that they impeded his run. Like, I'm not saying they didn't, but I do think it was almost in that split second where you can play it off as a reaction. So, and I think that's what they got lucky with. And I think the fact that Klein had already made his decision up as soon as he kicked it played in their favour. Because if they had re-looked at it, they would have seen him choose to change their line. And live, obviously, Klein had just said, no, I'm sticking with what I saw.
That's it. Let's go through this, because I think that there's a point there that I'm not going to do, because I reckon we're going to talk about it in just a second. Whilst I pull it up, player of the game. Let's do.
Can we go the game? Can we just do the game minutes one? The bottom of the chat there. I don't know if I've actually sent it to you, but the last thing I wrote there was the game minutes, and like Steph played 52, King played 57. Clark played 62 and Trent played 74. So those guys have all had more minutes than usual. So they've all had extra minutes. And then we've chosen on our bench to use 75 minutes total. So our six-man bench played 75 minutes. And that was Bloor for 18, Hetherington for 20, Alec for 37. STB wasn't used, which I didn't think he would be. Tolau wasn't used, like you said in the preview. They don't think we'll use him. And Pahulu didn't get a run at all. So we actually also had the same amount of bench rotations that they had, even though they lost Phoenix Crossland. So we chose to do it where they were forced to do it. I just find that a little bit interesting that we went in there with a
honestly though, like, and listeners, and I'll be really honest, I was copping messages all day and for 24 hours from Aaron around his analysis of what was going to happen with our interchange bench, and I love that you pulled it up. Wasn't I? You definitely were, and fair call too. One, you didn't understand that there's a six-man bench, and you saw the number 20 and you got confused with that. But you're not the only one with that one. But Bloor, why put him at the 19 and only playing for 19 minutes is one point. And I don't know. And then having STB there. Did you, Jess, my wife and I were sitting there trying to do some content. Did you know that the Melbourne Storm have deleted him out of our 30-man list? Can't find him. He's nowhere. He's got no stats. We couldn't find anything.
Is he a development player?
Don't know, but he's played games. There's no stats, and he's not even on our 30-man list.
You're actually allowed to use... You are allowed to. You need an exemption for it. Maybe he is in 30 to 34.
I don't know if he is or not, but...
Yeah, I don't know the answer either, but you definitely are allowed if you've got an exemption. So potentially, because we had some serious outside back problems with Seve down, X down. There's been more injuries than that. But yeah, potentially that's what they've done. They've asked for an exemption and they've been allowed to play him. I'm not sure.
But it was very confusing. I do agree with you, and we've got that with, and then even then, like, what was it? It was McDonald, Pahulu, and Hetherington were the bigs on the bench with Tolau, STB, and Blore. It just was very confusing.
Well, and as you said, like, if we don't have to use Harry, we won't, and we won't use Trent. And if, okay, that's fine. So you're carrying a utility hooker there, and the idea is not to use him. I just find it funny that then you carry an extra, like, you've already got Chan in the side, and then you carry Blore on the bench as well, and then like, I just feel like we were definitely going in there with a plan to hope that something happened, not like a plan that this is how we're going to use him. It was just like, please God, let's not get an injury here, or else we're fucked.
Yeah, agreed. And I would have liked to have seen Blore get more minutes, to be honest, and get Clark through the middle there. I thought that was nice. I think that's too many minutes for those big boys. In
74 for Trent. I haven't seen 74 from Trent in a long time. Clarkey had 62, and then a couple of times in that game, I thought in the first half when they got him off, they probably left it 5 minutes too long because he had a little bit of a moment where he was sucking eggs and they scored a try on him. So I think they left that probably 5 minutes too long. And then, I mean, Kingy can get through 57, no worries. But and good to see Steph have a bit of a rest because Steph's been asked to do a lot in the last few weeks, and he's been our best player for, well, when I say best player, I'm not saying that specifically, but he's been in our best players for the last 3 weeks for sure.
Let's go 3, 2, 1s. Aaron, your 3, 2, and 1.
I've changed. I've changed on the replay. Yeah, I've changed. I'm giving my 3 to Trent. I thought Trent in the first half was like almost perfect, and then I think he backed up really well, and so I give Trent my 3 votes. I think that's the best game for the year. I'd be happy to see him get the 2 potentially, but I'm giving him the 3 just because if he plays like that, it adds so much to our side. My 2, I'm giving to Steph. Again, I thought he was incredible. He just kept working hard. He's becoming...
Well, he put himself back in Origin contention.
I don't know why they're not talking about him, to be honest, because...
Well, they are. The people are starting to put it up based off what he's done the last few weeks.
Good. Because I don't know if they'll pick him because there's...
I don't think they should.
There's a lot of other good forwards out there that still aren't getting picked. Terrell May, Jackson Ford. Like let's be honest. It's a strong contenders list there, but he is doing things to definitely put himself in the conversation. So I give my 2 to Steph. And look, I gave my 1 to Hughesy. I know this is a bit of a contentious one. I just think there's a few moments in that game. The 40-20 was unbelievable. The rainbow pass out the top when we really, really needed it to hit Warbrick was absolutely special. And the try that he scored over Ponga to just run through him there and bring that, like there was only 14,000 people there, but that felt like 25,000 people when he ran through that front door. That was unreal. And not only that, he also had a couple of really good kicks as well. Like he almost put Warbrick over for a second try with a pass in the corner. He hit Warbrick twice on the edge with 2 beautiful kicks. He was in the game and he was calling the shots. He kicked for 530 metres as well, which is another talking point we haven't even raised yet. But like where we kept turning the ball over and making Greg the leg, making Dom Young and making Ponga come out of their back end was like, mate, we made them earn it. Don't get me wrong, they caused us dramas down there in our back end, but we really put them down in the corners and made them have to work. So I'll give my 1 to Doozy.
Fair call. My 3, 2, 1 is 3 goes to Hughes. He was just, without him, we're nowhere near that game. As you just said very well. Trent for 2. Best game of the year, but I found it hard not to give him 3 votes. I just thought Hughes, with a couple of extra moments, was fantastic. But that's the Trent that we know and love and that we want to see every single week. And I'm actually going to give one to a sleeper here that I love. I thought Mania was fantastic, so I'm giving him 1 vote. Like, Steph is harsh, I think. Grant played really well. I thought Sewer was good too. But I'm giving 1 to Mania just for something a little bit different. And now I'm going through the background and I'm looking at community says 24 hours after the game, we've got 3 votes goes to Trent, 2 votes goes to Hughesy, and 1 vote is the love heart. That's Mania. So 3 Liero, 2 Hughes, 1 Mania by the community.
Just want to chuck it in there. Gold Coast 20-12 up.
Loving it. As long as Walsh is
and
doing it right.
Make that 24-12.
Oh shit! Yeah, we need to get off this podcast so I can go and watch the Bronx lose.
I'll start it
Aaron,
again. I'm going to watch this again.
Nothing else to say game wise. I got 2 things I want to finish on.
I was going to say not game wise. No, I'm done game wise. I think we've covered everything in the game. So that's good.
All right, so I've got a couple of things. First thing is get to Freedom Finance and support Con in this world of cost of living crisis that everyone is saying, and at least ask questions. You don't have to do it, but it's smart to just ask questions and get on top of your finances. Con will sit there. It will cost him time, but he will happily do it because that's the sort of bloke he is. The second thing that I want to say, and then I'm going to end on one other thing, but the second thing I want to say is when the Storm are having a break, we are going to have a break. So Aaron and I and Jess in the background, we'll still do content. There'll still be a few things there, but there won't be a TLT. There won't be a review show this week. We're going to have a week off the podcast, enjoy an extra night at home watching some TV or doing something like that. So we're going to have a bit of a break. Our next show back will be the TLT round 16 preview. And then the last thing I wanted to say, Aaron, is I have noticed, and it's timely, that Origin is coming up, and there is just a beautiful coloured maroon jersey on your left shoulder. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Because goddamn, that's a sexy jersey.
I put that up there just for you, Trav.
I figured you would.
You told me I'm not a Queensland supporter and I don't need to sit on the fence. Well, I kind of do sit on the fence, so I'm not gonna lie. I still do sit on the fence, but like that's me. It's a 2012 Cameron Smith signed jersey. My sister bought it for my birthday, and that's one of my Cameron Smith jerseys there that I hold near and dear, and it's one of the collection. And then that one over there, that's probably my pride and joy, the Cam 400 one there. And as I said to you before we started this podcast, I had a goal to get them all done. Like I wanted all the jerseys. I've got the Tribute, I've got the 250, I've got the 356, I've got the 400, I've got the Origin jersey, and I went out and I bought the World Cup jersey, the Australian one, when they won the premiership and he was the captain. And I bought the jersey and I've still got it sitting there, and I'm going to use this opportunity to have a shout out, and we're going to tag Cameron Smith and say, come on, Cameron, fulfill my set, because I'm fucking so keen to get that last jersey signed. It's got to go somewhere in this room, you know, like they're all waiting for you, mate.
All right, so community, what we need you to do is tag Cam Smith, get him on so that we can get these jerseys signed. That's all we want.
We will reel this up, and we want this shared.
Yeah,
Cameron
get
Smith,
it out there.
Somehow reach out, sign my jersey so I can complete my set.
That's a good way to end, I think.
It's cheap. It's cheap. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
It's not cheap. We're Purple Rain. We are one of the bigger ones now already within a few weeks as community fan content for the Melbourne Storm. We absolutely live and breathe. Have a look at the back of my room. This is my man cave, and I've made a whole wall dedicated to the Storm. I love the Storm as well. We're even getting into a bit of artwork that we're creating ourselves here. Like, we're just loving it. So it fulfilled this man's dream. Like, he is a little puppy who needs a little cuddle, and that cuddle is Cam Smith's signature on a couple of his jerseys. If we can get that, we have succeeded this year. Doesn't matter how many followers we get. Doesn't matter what we get. We want Aaron to get his jersey signed.
I don't want to scare him off, but my wife calls him my boyfriend.
Oh, I don't. He's a bloody good-looking rooster too, man. Like, I don't have a problem with that.
But it's true. That's what she calls him, my boyfriend.
All right, awesome, man. Well, hey guys, thank you for the first 14 rounds of support and love. We are, overwhelmed. We've clicked over the 1,800 followers now. We're clicking into the millions worth of engagement in a month. It's just been incredible, and yeah, it's unreal. I can't believe we're halfway through, and this is where we're at. I kind of thought we'd get to halfway and we'd only be a couple of hundred in, like not this far in. So it's awesome. Hey, and I'm going to end on this one last point, and that's Origin Game 2 is coming up. It's at the MCG, and there's a guy named Josh. Is it Josh? Josh at City Sports, who's got some pretty awesome stuff for you. So get in there and support him. Mention Purple Rain. And he'll let us know.
Sell him out. Sell him out. He's got that much stock. Go in there, get what you want. Absolute legend of a dude too. He supported us straight from the start. He's a superstar, massive Storm fan. Get in there, get your gear, and get to Origin 2 and no injuries. No injuries.
Go Queensland.
Yep. Yeah,
Go
absolutely.
Queensland.
Go. At this one, I'm not on the fence at all. Fuck, there needs to be a Game 3. So go Queensland.
Hell yeah, that's my boy. There, see, I'm teaching him how to play, how to actually be a supporter.
100%. Game 3 is a dead rubber. I'll be so dirty, especially the way that Game 1 went down.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your weekends, and talk to you in a couple of weeks.